Hey, what's up, good lifers? I haven't shot a video in a while. I figure I should. So here we go. I want to talk to you today about a power promise. What is a power promise? A power promise is a promise you keep to yourself that empowers you. Okay? Okay? So, for instance, think about a time that you had momentum in your life. You were making progress towards a goal. Maybe you were losing weight. Maybe you were working your way up your job or your business. Maybe you were becoming a better marathon runner. Maybe you were, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of options. Maybe you were becoming maybe you had quit drinking. Maybe you had quit smoking and now you smoke again, or now you drink again, or whatever drug or whatever thing that you're doing, you know? Maybe you keep overreacting at this person or these people, and you keep meaning not to, but you just do, and you don't know what to do, and you keep some momentum, you get good at it, and it falls off. So there's lots of examples, okay? Power promise. Power promise is the thing that holds the structure together. As long as that stays intact, the structure stays alive. Okay? What do I mean? So here's a good example. Say you were on a diet and losing weight and making progress, or making healthier choices and eating better and exercising more, and you'd had your spitter spatter days here and there of doing these things, or little stretches of time, little what I'm saying there. And then there was this time, or maybe a few times, that you made this momentum, like you really made a lot of traction, and you reached a big goal. Maybe you lost 20, 50, 100 plus pounds, and he's like, wow. And there's this idea, there's kind of this moment often of, I made it. No. Because what that does is that takes your eye off the ball. That allows you to falsely believe you made it, meaning there's nothing else I need to do. So a power promise in that instance would be the things you were doing to reach that goal. You were maybe sticking to certain food groups. Maybe you were exercising a certain amount a day, following a certain routine, and you had done that for like a year. And you were doing it, and you're like, I made it. And then that weakens you, it like stuns you. And then cake gets put in front of you. You haven't eaten cake in a year. Eating cake's not good for the goal. And you do it. You make that decision. You haven't made that decision in a year. You just broke a power promise. Power promise you had for yourself was to not eat that stuff, because it's not part of where you want to go. You do, whether it's food, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's relationships, whether it's responses, whether it's who knows, things. And that power promise got broke, and all of a sudden you have lost credibility with yourself. Your perception of who you currently are has changed. Because now you're someone that cheats on their diet. Now you're someone that, once in a while, I can have this. And that's a slippery slope. And the whole thing starts coming down because you broke. And then next thing you know, it's a year later and you have all the weight back. Right? Happens all the time. Very common story. It's because of the breaking of power promises. When you want to accomplish something, when you want to have a certain result, you have to have power promises in place that as long as you keep those promises to yourself, everything's going to keep moving forward and getting better and better and holding together. But when you pull those pins out, it just goes down. It's a slippery slope because it really Sometimes you'll catch it, sometimes, but better be on alert for your own decision making. But that's breaking the power promise. It's how it can. Anyways, what I was saying was, if you actually do want to accomplish something, you need to have those power promises. You need to identify them. And you need to know, as long as I keep those, I keep moving. I keep progressing. I keep feeling better and better and better. Yeah. That's what power promises do. And you need to identify them and move them to the top of your value list of value things in your life. There is nothing that comes over them, because this goal you're reaching, or this thing you're doing, or this streak you're on is the most valuable thing for you and everyone you care about and all your other goals. Yeah. And you need to hear something like this a lot, especially in the beginning, and certainly periodical. Like hearing stuff like this, it's like a prescription. It's like it's a prescription. It's therapy. It's treatment. Because it helps you focus on the things that actually matter. Power promises matter in relationships, in physical health, mental health, emotional health, work, physical health, if I didn't say that already, financial health, whatever health, any health. The power promises need to stay intact and everything's good, I think that's it. I think I got it all. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense? Power promises? They are like pins that hold the entire structure that you're building up. As you are losing weight, you're building a structure, this big, beautiful building, this beautiful monument, this beautiful temple. And if you pull out those certain pieces, the foundations, if you crack the foundations, breaking a power promise, just eat cake the one time, it's okay, I've earned it. I've earned it. It doesn't matter what you're saying, I've earned it, or once in a while. Those are just things trying to twist you down, to break your promise with yourself. You don't crack the foundations. Foundations need to stay. Those are the things that cannot be damaged. I think that's a good analogy. I don't eat cake, okay? This is, you say, in the losing weight, because I think this is one of the best examples. I think a lot of people can relate with this. I'm not going to eat the cake. Okay, you just need to identify your foundations, your power promises. I'm not going to eat the cake. And that's it. And you just know, as long as I don't eat the cake, whatever your power promises are, I will lose weight. Like a while ago, I used to stop and buy maybe like a bag of chips or some kind of snack once or twice in a day. And then I made the decision, you know what? I'm going to get bananas. I'm just going to have them with me so I can eat a healthier snack, because I know when I'm hungry, I'm not going to try to fight that. I'm just going to appease it with something else. And that's a promise I've made. And I've been eating bananas as a snack all the time. Guess what happens? I feel better. Guess what happens? I lose weight. Guess what happens? I feel better. Power promise. You just decide what it is. All right, I'm just going to keep making that. There's a gym where I live. And where the gym is, sometimes I walk in there and use a restroom or something like that, because it's on the first floor, and sometimes it's just easier to do that on my way out or something. And I told myself, every time you cross into that room, which is because that's where the gym is, you have to go do a set of curls, just one set. I'm like, all right, I can do it. And first time I started doing it. Next time I started doing it. Now I go in there go through there 2-3 times a day, and I just do a set of curls. Now I've actually worked up doing a set of curls and a set of bench press. So it's not, because what sucks is like, God, I don't want to go to the gym and spend like an hour, 2 hours there, because it takes up a lot of time, especially since between, I'm running, I'm stretching, you're lifting, you're doing this exercise and this and whatever, and you got to shower, and you got to commute, and you got to do this. It's like, that's so much time in a day. How can I be more efficient about this and make some progress? Then you come up with a power promise. As long as you keep that, you're making progress, right? As long as I keep that one rule, when I cross into that room, I do a set of curls, and now it's I do a set of curls and bench press, and maybe something else. And what happens is you start building stronger and stronger foundations, because you're like, well, look, after a while, like I kept that one simple promise of stepping in there and doing curls, and it's built up. And now I go in there a few times and I'm stronger. I'm lifting bigger weights, and it's just, wow. I'm like, wow, okay, I can keep making progress like this, because this doesn't even really take up any time. I usually just I'll just use that restroom maybe twice a day, whatever, on my way in and out, and it's just, you just do it. Every time I cross into that gym, I do it, and now it's built. And I haven't made it. You never make it. You never make it. There's no like, I'm here. That's false. That's an illusion. Don't ever believe that. You've never made it. You are where you are. I've made progress. I've not made it. I've made progress, because you've never made it, right? There's no end to your goals, to places you go. There's just not, Jeff Bezos, richest man in the world, I think, like $150 billion. Like, oh, I'm the richest man. I made it. If he did that, he'd just drop and stop to keep his eye off the ball. But he's focused on getting more and more and more and more. I mean, that's an extreme example, but I'm doing it because I want it to make sense. Your power promises. All right. Just do it. Figure out something you want to do, and you don't have to jump to the top of the mountain. Just take a step. Okay, what step can I make and believe that I can consistently make to build trust, to build integrity, to build confidence, belief in myself? Yeah. All right. Share this with someone. Feel free to comment below. I don't know, with examples of times where you've broke power promises, you've realized now, because you've traced it all back. The person that lost 100 pounds and then gained it all back the next year, if they trace it all the way back, they'll remember, oh, it goes all back to that one time that I chose to eat cake, and I told myself, that's all right, you've earned it. That's all right, it's just one in a long time. Do one a year. They'll trace it back to that, and that'll be the moment that everything started falling apart, because you damaged the foundation of what you've built. Yeah, that's good. All right, I'm going to go. Just feel like I'm just rambling now. All right. Think about the power promises.